What if I told you the worst team in NBA history is currently in the NBA right now? The Detroit Pistons, 20 games into the NBA season, are on pace to be the worst team the NBA has ever seen. As of December 4th, the Detroit Pistons are currently on a 17-game losing streak and didn't win a single game in the month of November, with their last win coming October 28th. The current worst team in NBA history is the 2012 Bobcats. With this season being a shortened season, they had a 7-59 record with only a 19% win percentage. The current Pistons this year, 20 games into the season, have a 2-18 record with only a 10% win percentage. With this current situation they're in, it seems like they're in a worse situation they were when they started their rebuild 4 seasons ago. This season, the Pistons have the 27th rated offense, the 24th rated defense, and are 29th in net rating, and are at the bottom of the pack in nearly every single advanced category. With a team that was hoping to make a push for the play-in this season, this is never a recipe you really want. I don't want this video to come across all negative because even though the team seems to lack direction currently, they do have bright spots. Monty Williams is the perfect coach for this team. The Pistons went out and gave this man a bag, and they'll be able to build a team around what fits Monty's style, and the players will grow big time because of his leadership. Many people expected Cade Cunningham to make a jump this season similar to the one Anthony Edwards has made. All summer, we heard about how he was outplaying everyone on Team USA's roster while he was only on the B team. Cade has made a pretty big jump, especially for a player that missed nearly his whole second year. We've seen a 3-point jump from 19 points a game last year to 22 this season, and about 1.5 assists more with 7.3. Although his efficiency isn't nearly where we want it, I wouldn't expect anything less from a 22-year-old being the number one option while only have played 96 games total. Jalen Duren is a player I'm extremely high on. The level that he plays at for a player that just turned 20 a couple weeks ago is almost unheard of. For someone with his height, he is very athletic, but also strong enough to handle bigger players. Because of this athleticism, he's someone you don't want to meet at the rim. His style of defense reminds me of Bam Adebayo, and I think he has the potential to be a big that can switch onto anyone like Bam. Asar Thompson's another player that can be key for this team. Thompson's offense has been very shaky with him shooting 13% from the three-point line. Both the fans and the Pistons knew that the offense with Thompson is something that would have to be developed, but the defense is why he was such a high pick. He averages a block and a half to go along with a steal. The numbers don't necessarily show the whole story. This guy will do all the dirty work and hustle plays. To go along with his defense, he's such a great rebounder for his height. I wouldn't be surprised if by the time Asar retires, he had multiple all-defensive teams under his belt. Something I don't understand is why Jaden Ivey isn't playing. Ivey last year was one of the few bright spots of the team after Cade went down. He had a very respectable rookie season. Either Ivey needs to be given more opportunities, or he just needs to be on a different team. I'm sure Monty thinks with Killian Hayes of all people playing over him is defense. I honestly think there's a world where Cade and Ivey can be the backcourt of the future. They're both above average height for guards that put in the right situation could be a great defensive team with Thompson and Duren having their backs. The San Antonio Spurs are currently in a similar situation with them being on a 14-game losing streak, but they seem to have more direction. They have their cemented key piece with Wemby and will be able to build around players like Jeremy Sohan. They'll also be able to look for a co-star this season with another top pick. The Pistons have been committed to the rebuild for a while now and have many young players that have had a lot of potential and were supposed to be good. Something good the Pistons did was trade for players that were low risk, high reward like James Wiseman. With that being said, they now have a logjam at the center spot. Duren has secured his spot, but now they make a choice on their certified backup center. With Isaiah Stewart, Marvin Bagley, and James Wiseman all fighting for the spot, it's time to pick one and move on from the rest. The last time this team made the playoffs, they were led by Blake Griffin back in 2019. This team wasn't really going anywhere, but it was a fun team, and the last time we saw Blake Griffin play at a high level. The Pistons haven't really had much success in the playoffs even when they do make it. In the last 15 seasons, the Pistons have made the playoffs only 3 times. You have to go all the way back to 2008 to even have a game won in the playoffs. It's hard to compare this team to other teams rebuilding. Teams like OKC, the Magic, and the Pacers all were supposed to be on similar timelines with their rebuilds. The Pistons are taking longer than expected and most likely have a few more seasons of the rebuild. If you're in the Pistons situation, what would you do differently? And also, do you think the Pistons are actually going to be the worst team in NBA history? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This is my first long-form video, but on my short-form content, I've noticed that over 99% of people watching aren't subscribed. So if you've made it this far and have enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.